Hey everyone, welcome to That's Dope, the podcast where we talk about dope things. My name is Godswill, and as always, I have a special guest with me, and she is super special. This is Jasmin Joestar. She is the first person actually who saw me and welcomed me into LA as I moved in. And actually, all this wonderful furniture I have in my place is thanks to her. Honestly, if it wasn't for you, I think I might just have a mattress on the floor. No bed frame. One pillow maybe.
No.
I don't know about the computer desk. Maybe I got a computer desk. Yeah, right. But also you've always been like just so welcoming and like kind to me every time I came into LA before I moved here. And also you just always been like honestly a beacon to me, like every time I see you online, I love your energy, I love what you're standing up for, I love what you're about. And I was like, I gotta talk to you. And also I missed you. I haven't seen you honestly. When's the last time I saw you? Like we went out for curry, and that was it, I think, right?
Damn, I don't even remember when that was, but yeah, it's been like legit 6 months. Yeah,
damn,
at least.
That's too much. It's too much, and I missed you. I'm glad that. Yeah.
DreamHack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
so
smokes.
February, you're one of the last people I saw.
Man.
Before COVID Nation attacked.
I know, right? I was like, and then the COVID Nation attacked us, and we're stuck indoors. At least that's if you're trying to be responsible, or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, crazy times. I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy that we get to talk to you today. Yeah, it's always great talking and seeing you.
Yeah.
So first off, like, how you been? I mean, I haven't seen you in 6 months. I mean, you're looking good, and I mean, your spot looking nice too. I mean, I see the Iggy over there. I saw the Overwatch poster behind you. Mm-hmm.
You gotta represent the Jojo and the Overwatch, and there's like a Blizzard box over there.
Nice.
There's like a little diva figure, if you could spot that. The Snowball from May from Overwatch. So
nice.
Like little geeky like tidbits in my room.
You still play Overwatch?
But adult.
Yeah. Ooh, we need to play together.
Every now and then.
Okay.
I just hop on there like every now and then. They just had a summer event and with a bunch of dope skins, and my girl Farah, who
she's been killing it this whole year.
Yes.
This whole year.
Yeah,
I wish I bought the Spaceman outfit and then also the Top Gun outfit. I wish I bought those.
They're gonna come. They come back. Like they come back. Like they at one point unlock, so you could just purchase it with the coins that you get from the loot boxes, which works out great. So you don't have that like forever FOMO. I missed out. I'm done. That's it.
Thank God.
Uninstall. Throws out. I know,
right? It's like, what do I do now, right?
But they had like a lifeguard skin for her, and I was just like, I gotta get this. So she's been killing it. Overwatch is still good. I'm like mad curious to see if they're going to drop Overwatch 2 because I went to BlizzCon last year and I got to play it, and it is.
You got to play it?
Yes, I did. I got to play it twice. It's so good. It is so good. So everybody, all these haters and Overwatch criticizers, and they like hopped on this bandwagon to like hate Overwatch. Like they're all going to be eating a nice slice of humble pie.
I can't wait. I play Overwatch honestly every day.
Really?
Yeah, like every day. PS4. As soon as we're done talking, I'm glad to play some Overwatch. Like I have to do it at least once a day.
I see you. I see the reflection in your glasses.
That's always a big worry of mine whenever I'm at work. I mean, like I'm a good boy when I'm at work. I don't play video games when I'm at work, but sometimes I might have.
When they're watching,
I know, right? Sometimes I'm a little worried about the reflection off my glasses. So it's a little worrisome. And then also like the changing colors like off the screen. Let me see if it works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you can tell people are in another world. Definitely.
I know, right? Yes, I'm really happy to hear that you're doing really well. And then and also I definitely got to ask, like, are you still watching JoJo's and all that? Like, the last time I saw you, like when we were moving, you were rewatching part 4, and
so there is always anime on in the background. But what happens if it's an anime I haven't watched yet, I end up watching it. And so I end up, losing productivity if it's, if I'm putting something on I haven't watched. But if it's something I've watched already, it's just a good background noise. Yeah, and I don't know Japanese quite yet. Hopefully one day I'll
Sugoshi.
One day achieve the ultimate weeb dream of learning Japanese. But until then, it's always on. And part 4 is, honest to God, the easiest part to watch. It's not as tragic as
That's a good point.
Other parts.
At least the first 2/3, right?
I mean, all we have is like, listen, there's only like one Jobro death, and if this is a spoiler, then
Spoiler.
that's you should have already watched Jojo, and
All
if you
right.
don't know, watch Jojo.
Why would you tell somebody to watch JoJo's? Because I mean, JoJo's honestly is like probably like top 10 like all time for me. I think maybe I'm pretty sure.
I have 5 reasons for you to watch Jojo.
Please tell the people.
All right, let's go. Number 1, it is a long-running anime, and not in the terms of Naruto, Godswill, but One Piece, where it's just like a serious dedication. It's just long in the terms if it's existed since the 80s. So it's definitely a classic. It's something to put on your resume of animes to have watched, and people aren't going to judge you for it. Like if I sat down and said, yo, I'm watching like, Yuri on Ice, like, which is a great anime, but is definitely very trendy. Jojo is not trendy. Jojo is a classic anime. That's number 1. Number 2, Jojo has its own unique animation style, which is amazing. So if you haven't seen Jojo, you have probably seen a meme. Even if you don't watch anime, you've seen a Jojo meme. It's just, that's it.
Facts.
That's the rules. You've seen it. Like if you're on
that
the
Jojo
internet,
reference.
that is always. My entire life is a Jojo reference. But
right?
you've seen it, and you've seen the the threatening aura manga letters, which is very unique to Jojo.
Go.
Number 3, it transcends anime. So it's entered the world of fashion. It's had collaborations with companies like Gucci and other various companies. The creator Hirohiko Araki has had multiple fashion collaborations, has had music collaborations and restaurant collaborations and pop-ups and left and right. So it's more than just, you're watching Chinese cartoons. Like, no, it's Japanese, I know, but like it's way more than that. I just said someone says like, hey, listen, no. It's more than that. Number 4, the representation is amazing. Like, I know representation is something people see as something new in PC culture, but this is a whole nother country and a whole nother part of the world.
Yeah.
And JoJo has always been inclusive of like everything, like LGBT, people of color, Egyptian, Middle Eastern, Black, Hispanic. We've had handicapped characters as well. So we have like
Part 7,
right? I'm not going to get super into it, but I don't want to do any spoilers, especially manga spoilers. So it's that representation is like chef's kiss. Like I can't be mad. Like I can't find a way to criticize this anime. And number 5, do it for the memes. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like JoJo is like the number 1 memed anime ever. So at some point, you have
honestly,
to. Yeah.
Very much so.
For the culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think those are great reasons. Like I just finished reading part 7 recently, and I mean, I'm hooked. Like I'm like, this is like one of the best franchises out there for sure. One Piece for sure is still number 1. Don't get me wrong.
That's
right?
Fine. But wrong opinions, but
exactly. Ouch. One day you're gonna watch One Piece and you'll understand. I think anyone who says shit about One Piece, there's only like a few people like who have seen One Piece and don't like it because they have their expectations. But otherwise, you watch it, you're sold. And like it takes a while to get into it. Don't get me wrong. But anyways, JoJo's, you're absolutely correct. I absolutely love those reasons.
Watch JoJo.
For me, like it has inspired me so much. I mean, like you work out to like the opening music, like the opening songs for it. You want to be these characters, whether you're big and buff or skinny and doing your own thing, right? Using your brain. Characters are great. I mean, your character Iggy right there, is one of a kind. One of a kind.
It's funny because I went to were you there at Anime Expo a few years ago? I want to say 2017. I can't remember, 2018. So. But there was a JoJo panel. Wait.
I think so.
It was
Viz panel, right?
I think it's 2018.
Yeah.
Because it was the year before Part 5 came out.
Oh.
And they showed a special premiere where they showed the entire first episode of Part 5.
I missed it. I remember going to the panel, but I had to leave the panel before they showed the episode because I had to go
it was total. It's definitely at the end, and everyone was like losing it.
I remember that. And I was so salty. I was so sad. I remember sitting like with the whole gang of people. Like it took a lot to get inside this panel because it was It was in the biggest hall and it was bursting at the seams. And luckily we got to, be like, yeah, we're industry. Let's, let's see if we can get in. And we got in.
Card, huh? I'm with the band card.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I had to leave and I couldn't see the episode. Oh man, that would have been a amazing moment to see that
That
with everybody.
panel was so iconic. I think that was like my first official like JoJo thing that I have ever done.
Oh yeah.
In terms of like in like in a convention and everything. So I like got into JoJo in like early 2017, and I just fell in love with it. Like, yeah, late 2016, early 2017, got into JoJo. I found out about this panel. I was like, I have to go. I had a group of friends already ready to go, huge JoJo fans. I did a gender bend version of one of the best Jo Bros of all time, Muhammad Abdal.
Yes,
Part
I think
3.
he needs more love. Like
Oh my God, does he ever? Like, yes.
the first black guy, like he was straight up black guy from Egypt with the dreads, or like the ethnic hairstyle.
The ethnic hairstyle. I don't actually know what those.
I don't know what they are.
I'm not really sure what it is because it's animated.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the hairstyle, but he was like the epitome of like representation in so many ways. Like, I definitely most likely Muslim.
His name was Muhammad. Yeah, yeah, Muhammad Abdul.
Like definitely Middle Eastern and black, and on top of that, he was like an epic character. Like, it's not just the token, which I hate, but like he was part of the Jo Bro squad, and not was he only part of it. He was like a revered member of it. Like, he was seen as like
also Jo Bro. Sorry to interrupt, but like Jo Bro, like the brother group, other people that are outside of the main group. Of
Joestar. Jo Bros.
Yeah, sorry. Like we're getting deep into it. I was just like, let me just explain for people who might not know anything about Joes at all. So yeah, part 3.
Jo Bros. Yep. It's the squad. It is. So in part 2, it starts in part 2 with Joseph and Caesar, and then part 3 with the entire squad with Jotaro, Joseph, Avdol, Polnareff, Kakuin, and Iggy. Then in part 4, it's Josuke, Akiyasu. At some point, Shigichi. I'm not going to get deeper into that. Man. And then part 5 is just like way too many people.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Although at least there's like the main squad. Like, I was just thinking about this earlier today too. I think like in sort of preparation, I was like, man, what's my favorite JoJo's?
I have.
Yeah. What's your favorite JoJo's? And
man, I got So my number 1 favorite JoJo season or part is part 3. Definitely Stardust Crusaders is, I think, the most epic. It's the introduction to stands, and I think I like stands a lot more than Hamon, which is what they did in part 2.
Part 1 and part 2.
And I like the different characters. I like the adventures, all the stand users they encounter. You can't really tell what's going to happen. Part 4 is the easiest to watch. Diamond is Unbreakable is very easy to watch. There isn't that as much tragedy as part 3 has. So it's a good recovery, and it's the perfect middle ground between part 3 and part 6. Because I like part 5, but part 5 to me, some people are gonna get mad at me, but part 5 to me is almost like filler. It's not really. People are gonna be like, that's a strong opinion. I don't like Dio. I don't like that motherfucker. I don't. Can I cuss?
That's fine. Yeah. It is an explicit podcast.
I fucking hate Dio. I don't like Dio. That's how much I love Jotaro and Joseph. I don't like Dio. I understand he's an amazing character. Don't get me wrong. I just hate that motherfucker. So Giorno being his son, and I know it's complicated, and I know Giorno is not exactly like his dad, and I get it. That's, I guess, a spoiler, but just watch Jojo.
It is.
You can like bleep up the spoiler.
It won't make any sense to someone who doesn't know what the series is about. Like, otherwise, I would just say go see it.
Yep.
It's so, like, for me, honestly, funny thing, part 5 is my favorite part. But like, it was part 5, part 3, and then also like we're including manga.
Part 6.
Part 6, honestly, I love part 6 a lot.
Part 6, I mean, we have that 90s girl power energy with Jolene and her squad, Hermes and FF, and it's just like, it's part 6 was the first JoJo manga I actually read.
Wow.
I mean, it's not available, right? Like, you can watch the anime, right?
Yeah.
But I read part 6, and I'm going to go back and read part 1 through 5, but I love Jolene, and I think, like, it is the most insane things that happen to her. And Jotaro's in it, so biased.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like that was bonus points for me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think also I just want to explain, I guess, like more about the JoJo's lore, so that way people can like hopefully like, get into it. So because at first, like when I first saw JoJo's, all I heard about was also sirens going outside. Hopefully, you can't hear that too much. But anyways, screw it, whatever. Anyways,
I can't hear it at all. You're good.
All right, good, perfect. So JoJo's, at first I thought it was just gonna be this goofy, just we're just gonna have fun and have a bizarre adventure. But
That's
it's
Joseph.
yeah,
Part 2 Joseph.
absolutely right. And like it follows like a genealogy of these fighters, like who,
Joestar.
yeah, these
Bloodline.
Joestar, yeah, the bloodline of the Joestars, like who fight against evil, whatever form it may be, usually vampires or whatever the heck, right?
Just Dios, bitch
Yeah.
ass mostly.
Yeah, right.
In
Exactly.
455, and then it came a whole different arc that was just like, wait, what? What
Yeah.
happened? Yeah.
It's wild, but like it has been like one of the most
It's
engrossing.
bizarre.
Yeah, right.
Would you say it's
Right.
bizarre?
It is bizarre, like I think like this is like truly like one of the most bizarre pieces of
Okay.
media I've like sort of gotten to, but at the same time, like you just sort of get used to it, like slowly get used to the weirdness every time, and like it's just sort of like, wow, that was weird, and then it's just like, okay, let's keep going, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yeah. I
just
mean,
doesn't
it's
stop.
weird in the way where it's like you can't tell what's gonna happen, but it's not weird in the way you're like, okay,
I don't
this
get.
is a little too much, and I can't
Yeah.
really digest it anymore.
Yes.
And I think it's just constantly impressive. It's definitely the thing that just you want to keep watching or reading. Like you can't just stop. You're like, what's gonna happen next? I can't tell. What's the next stand user going to be? How much worse can it possibly be? And when the stand user introduces, the enemy stand user introduces stuff, you're like,
Oh
oh, that's
no.
crazy. And then they
Yeah.
become like to another level of OP where you're like, there's no way he could be beaten. That's it. It's a wrap. Someone's going to die. And then some way, somehow they found a way to defeat him. And it's just like, holy crap.
I love that, like it's mainly about the sort of intelligence of our main protagonists versus like, I just got to get stronger than
Dragon
whatever,
Ball.
right? Exactly.
Status,
Like
yeah.
it's not like a Goku type of deal. It's more like, okay, here are the skills, and we're gonna just try to use our brains to get out whatever problem that we have. So that's something I've always appreciated, and I think it doesn't get enough credit being like a sort of like more a little bit more cerebral in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I've always dug
A
about
higher
it.
intellectual level.
You gotta have the big brain to get it.
Big brains to understand Jojo.
Exactly, right. No, I'm glad. I'm actually really glad that you stand JoJo so much. And like I feel like more people need to get into it. Like it feels like people love to be like, oh, I don't watch JoJo's because it's mainstream or it seems weird. I'm just like, oh, you both are wrong. I think even if it's mainstream, it's good. And then two,
there's a reason why.
Exactly. I mean,
it became mainstream. That's the thing. Like I think people need to recognize that it's existed for a long time.
Yeah.
If an anime that has existed for a while becomes mainstream, which means more people got into it and would push it to be mainstream, I think that's something that you should take a look into. There's so many anime that I have got into simply just by attending a convention and seeing so many people cosplaying from it and seeing friends getting into it that I'm like, what's this about? And this happens every year. Anime Expo, there's something called Flavor of the Summer or Flavor of the Year anime. So Kill la Kill was one of them. That happened a few years ago. My Hero started that way as well. And then My Hero became its own like legendary anime on its own.
Absolutely.
Demon Slayer was another. So they're just flavors, and you'll see them being like, like everywhere. You'll see them in cosplay, you see them at panels, you see them all of a sudden everyone's talking about one single anime. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And they become that way. And there's some things that don't take off the way, like they're good, but they don't take off that way. You'll have things like, for example, Beastars and BNA, both animal-centric anime that hit Netflix. I don't know who the furry in charge at Netflix is.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like they infiltrated and they made it happen, though.
Exactly. It was good and it was hot, but then it simmered real quickly too. Like people watched it, they were done, and the discussions ended. Versus other anime. Like again, I think Demon Slayer is a great example because we only got like a season. And then it's going to be a very short anime. The manga already ended, but people are still talking about it. People are still cosplaying from it. It's still relevant.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the flavors, and that's how I discover new anime. Is because those flavors are what we would like to say also mainstream, is what helps anime get pushed up and shared, and they're popular.
Yes.
So there's a reason why they are that way. You should probably watch and consume it.
I agree. No, I'm actually really happy that you say that because it's true. People love to be like, oh, I don't want to watch that, the most mainstream or the flavor, honestly. But
that was me with Naruto and One Piece. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I grew up seeing a little bit Naruto here and there, and I never could keep up with it. But I would not get into it due to the fact that so many
mainstream.
people love it, and it's so, I mean, I don't common. Like, it's just everybody knows what Naruto is, and everybody has seen it. I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, what? I'm gonna get into it. Why not? And then I had a couple friends at work who were weebs, and we had this. We were discussing like, what are your favorite animes? Blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah.
And I said I never watched Naruto, and they're both like huge Naruto heads. They're like, how have you never seen it? I'm just like, dude, at this point, it's 900 episodes. I just feel
700
overwhelmed
actually.
Trying. So like, okay, I'll make you a deal. You watch Naruto. So it's two guys. They're like, you watch Naruto, and we'll watch Jojo. And I'm
Good
like,
trade.
all right, done deal. I was like, it's not fair.
Yeah, I was like, good trade for them. Like, if like, because you have 700 episodes to go. Or
I have I have like 700 to 900. I mean, although
you can
like
skip a lot.
Naruto.
You can skip a lot though.
Yes, so I'm gonna do that. I mean, I started it, and I'm gonna be completely honest, and I know I'm going to eat this definitely later, but I really like Naruto, and I'm really angry at myself for not starting it earlier. I love it. I'm the one who's like, we have a anime night in our Discord, and we rotate through anime. And so the four anime we have on rotation right now is Attack on Titan, which I've already seen the first 2 seasons.
Oh,
the third one.
You need to watch season 3 for sure.
We're rewatching 1 and 2 together,
All right,
and
cool.
We're gonna watch 3, but we're gonna have to get it done soon because the 4th.
Yeah, season 4 is coming out real soon. So
in a month.
Yeah, in a month.
October.
I thought it was coming out like December. Attack on Titan's
so
coming out in October.
It's coming out in October. It and the Demon Slayer movie is coming out in October. So
oh my goodness.
Together,
oh my goodness.
Wrap up your AOT. Because the end is near.
Oh my goodness.
Literally 1 month. And,
I just rewatched Attack on Titan, so I'm good. So good luck to you.
You're good. Yeah, no, I need to complete it. So yeah, Attack on Titan's on the list. We're also watching Naruto.
Good. How far are you in that?
Like 12 episodes.
Oh wow. I mean, although the first 12 episodes are pretty hype. Actually,
they're really good. Yeah. I'm already getting so many, like, I'm watching it, and as I'm watching it, I'm getting all the references I've been seeing and hearing. Like, I know, like, every time somebody Naruto runs, I get it now. Like, exactly, it's from the beginning, like, the sexy no jutsu thing. I was like, I get it now, because that was, like, right off the bat, actually.
Yes.
First episode. People randomly yelling, Dapayo! And I'm like, what are you saying?
You're watching in Japanese?
Of course.
Okay. For me, I'm a huge dub guy, so like I watch a lot of I watch both,
Good.
But yeah, if I can, and if it's not a bad dub, then I watch it dub. So yeah, I actually had to track down like all of Naruto Shippuden dub to watch that. Yeah, but overall, yeah, like sub.
There are some anime that I prefer dub, and they're not necessarily anime, but like they're more the American anime, which there needs to be a better term. Like Agretsuko, just watched season 3. I watched the dub.
My God.
I prefer the dub.
Can we talk about season 3, by the way?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
it was unexpectedly good. It
got better. I thought like it was great before, but like it just got like more hype.
It got very good, and it got actually like pretty mature, which I was very surprised. Past like, oh yeah, she's working in the, she's an adult working, and there's dating involved. It got way deeper than that, and it touched something that I was just like, damn, dude, like that, and that came out of nowhere. Like it really took me off my feet, because when you watch dub, chances are you will get distracted. You're not like reading subtitles. So you can get distracted. You end up going on your phone at some point and stuff. But Agretsuko, even in dub, had my attention the entire time. I was
shocked, especially like when the boss Hyodo, is it Hyodo? Like
So this part's a spoiler, guys, because Agretsuko just dropped. Like
I know. Sorry for the spoiler.
So just to let you know, if you don't want to hear the spoiler, then yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Spoiler. I'm glad you said that. Right. Like, boom. Right here. Yeah. So like when the idol boss came out, like where he just was like, hey,
do you know who voices him in the dub?
Pro ZD. I was shocked. I was like, because like I heard him, and I was like, who the heck is this person? I'm scared, actually. Like I actually felt like nervous, like where I was like, dang, this guy sounds like a gangster, and then I had to go look it up, like as soon as the episode finished. Like it was like 2 episodes, and I was just like, dang, like who is this guy? Like he has me, like he has like the Reservoir Dogs vibe, like down pat. And I was shocked. I was proud. And then also the other voices too. Like there was like the main idol chick, and like she was great.
She was the bunny, I think. Yeah.
Like I honestly, like everybody I thought killed it this time around. I thought they did a good job before. Absolutely murdered it this time.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, you think at this point, like you're like, okay, season 3, like what else could there be? I'm glad they really touched base on a lot of things, like the fact that Agretsuko lost control and spent her money unwisely. And I'm gonna try to be like, just in case people are watching this, they're like, I don't want to know all the detail. I'm not gonna get super spoilery, but like that, the fact that what happened to her with a crazed fan, I think a lot of yeah, that
hard.
was. I almost wish they kind of, not to be like, I know, like super PC.
I know what you mean. Like you know, you sort
warning, because I kind of like I had dealt with a stalking incident myself, and so it's just like that kind of like hurt. Like I was just like sitting there in silence. I was like, oh my god, did they really go that far into like to touch this topic in Agretsuko? The fact that she had to deal with like the safety of a job versus pursuing her dream. So it was a very heavy themes that were like very real and very important and valid, and I'm glad that they touched base with that. And I did not like, a lot of the times in anime and stuff, they're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, I expect this to happen, I expect that to happen, you're already like pre-calculating what's gonna happen. It completely took me, every episode I was surprised and stunned. Yeah,
same. You know, honestly, like I would say, like with good anime, usually I don't know what's about to happen.
That's a good anime. That's a good anime.
Right now I'm watching Great Pretenders, and I'm just feel like, wow, this is great. I don't know what is about to happen, but I'm with it. Like Great Pretender, like I would say Netflix is killing the game right now. If only they marketed their stuff better.
Yeah.
Take over.
And I think the Netflix anime is NX.
Their
NX, Twitter is called like NX or something like that. They've been really inclusive as well, which has been really nice. They've been sharing content creators that are Black as well, which is
I saw that they did
finally they're getting that love, because they get the most hate in the cosplay and anime community. So I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do that.
And voice actors too, which is really cool to see like the profiles that they did on that. Absolutely. Like it is pretty cool to see, like, I guess, like what anime is today, you know, like where it's able to touch on like on such good and important points, and then also like have like really powerful characters, I guess, that sort of keep pulling you along the way the whole time.
The inclusion as well is like hella important, because you know, how many times are we gonna, a lot of anime is like rinse and repeat. A lot of times there's like similar themes, like even like listen, I love My Hero and I love Demon Slayer, but Tanjiro and Deku are like the same character. They're the same person for me.
Honestly,
I'm talking strictly anime, not manga. So if something happens in the future with the manga, I get it. The manga is, you know, touching like in the future. I haven't read it. They probably changed the character up. I know they're gonna go through some changes, but at the moment, just the anime, and I've only watched the anime for these two. They're literally the same character. I kind of got annoyed watching Demon Slayer, because I'm like, like you are just Deku like remixed. Like it's the same. It's the same as like this sweet, soft, good boy.
You're not wrong at all, honestly. Like I think I really like that.
But I'm serious. I love them both. I love my cinnamon rolls. But like y'all, like can we get like a protagonist like that's more like, I guess I want a protagonist that's more Bakugo than Deku. You know, I want a complicated character from the beginning. Which is actually perfect example, going back to Jojo. Jotaro is like the perfect, because he is a piece of shit.
Right, a douche. Like at the beginning for sure.
Yeah, because he calls his mom an annoying bitch. I'm like, whoa, buddy.
And I was like, I got hurt. I was like, yo, guy, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it.
I did not like Jotaro at first, and I think that's why I love him so much, because we saw that growth and we learned about him in that evolution. Versus like, again, you know, just like the good soft boys, and I'm like, you guys are great, but like give me more. Like that's why I think I like Naruto, because Naruto is like a little piece of shit. He got attitude, you know.
He's complicated for sure.
Exactly, but I love him, because I'm like, I'm gonna see growth, and that I think is special versus you know.
Absolutely. I'm really happy that you're saying these things, because absolutely that, you know, Naruto is good. I think like, it just sort of came out like just too close to each other, you know, Demon Slayer and My Hero. I don't blame you. Personally, I love those type of guys, but absolutely. Like, they
That's
are
because
very
you're that
similar.
kind of guy, Godswill. You're like the sweet, good guy, soft, like, you know, like wants justice, helps everybody, is just like, you know, a good person.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I like the chaos. So
which I think is very fair. I think, you know, I think that's why everyone likes Inosuke, you know, like paired up with
it's
just sort of like, what's this guy gonna do?
It's funny because like we have Inosuke, which I think again is I mean, I'm sorry to be like drawing a line between My Hero and Demon Slayer, but Inosuke,
I think it's fair.
Some Bakugo vibes. And then you have somebody like what's his name?
Zenitsu?
Oh man, what?
Zenitsu?
Zenitsu. That's right. And Zenitsu, and I'm surprised that people like Zenitsu because he almost gives me.
Mineta.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
I thought the same thing too. I was like, you guys like him now? Hold up.
Zero people like Mineta.
The funny thing is, I like Mineta and I don't like
him.
Zenitsu. I'm like Zenitsu, it just gets on my nerves. Whereas Mineta, I get. You know, I can understand like where he's coming from. People are like, oh my god, he's the worst man ever.
We got a Mineta apologist in here.
I know, right? It's very rare. You know, and like it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't excuse what he does. I just sort of get it, you know.
I'm just
like,
kidding. Listen, it's anime.
It's just sort of like I understand being a super horny kid at 15. I'm still.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
Let's be
like,
real, guys.
come on
and people
now.
watching it are acting like they're better than them.
That's what I was like. Chill out, y'all. It's like, weren't you guys all drawing fanfics of everybody in My Hero?
I don't know. Were you doing?
Not me.
I was Godswill.
I'm a good boy. I don't do that. Right? I'm like, cool. They look great. That's it, right? Anyways, you were talking about. Anyways, I did want to talk to you about like the inclusion part. You know, like that has been like a big part of I guess honestly, like what you've been standing for. I mean, like you have done panels on inclusion. You know, every time I see you like on Facebook or Twitter, you know, it's really about like inclusion. You know, just trying to make sure.
Twitter, if you're here, what's good? I know. Hey. I got a couple people there that are just sitting there like, what's she gonna say now? Like,
I know, right? I know. Sometimes I'm just like, oh boy. Oh, there's a few people I'm just like, oh boy, what are they gonna say? And you know, like I'm ready just to take off the shirt and be like, okay, let's go fight. Or you know, so, you know, luckily, like, yeah, sometimes, but sometimes it just sort of gets bigger than all of us, and it's just sort of like, well,
I think we're growing like there's so many things going on, right? I think inclusion. I think it's really important because a lot of people are shocked. And I get into it. I get into this with both people from the West and people from the East. Like everybody's catching these hands. These hands are rated E for everyone because let me tell you, people from the West can be as bad and as ignorant as people from the East. And I'm from the East, you know, I'm talking about like the Middle East specifically. A lot of people are very judgmental and they're just like, oh, I watch anime and, you know, there's like
such a bummer.
Girls. Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, what's interesting and funny, and I don't think a lot of people know this. There are anime conventions in the Middle East, and
I mean, I've actually seen a few, and I've actually seen some amazing
Saudi
cosplayers.
Arabia and everyone sees Saudi Arabia as this, which it's not. They've changed a lot in the last few years. I'm not at all defending Saudi Arabia because they still have a long way to go. But they have anime conventions. The UAE has anime conventions. Kuwait. Qatar, they have anime conventions. There's anime clubs in Iraq, which is where I'm from. And I think a lot of people don't think that there's Malaysia actually is number one. Malaysia and Indonesia, which have more Muslims than the Middle East does. They're at like a 99% Muslim are there. Yeah. They have done this beautiful artistic versions of hijabi women as anime characters when they cosplay. So they'll style their hijab in a way where it looks like, you know, Hatsune Miku, where they'll have like two ponytails, but it's all silk cloth, you know, versus a wig or their own hair, you know, which I think is incredibly dope and deserves credit and love that they go above and beyond to create a cosplay and you know, creatively adjust it to, you know, what they're comfortable with. And I
like
think that we need to give credit where credit's due to our Middle Eastern and Asian friends that are weebs and Muslims, and we also are all weebs. We're human beings, you know. We can like anime. I watched a lot of anime in the Middle East when I was there, back when I used to visit, and so you know, I think I think it's dope, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think, you know, we're still like deserts and camels, and it's not what we are, you know. And I think it's important that we have characters that represent us and what we look like in anime. So it's really, really refreshing to get characters that are also darker skin colored, because a lot of Middle Eastern people are darker skin colored. They can be fair skinned like I am, for example. I think it's important to also get some more, I guess, modest anime characters. So it's easier for them to cosplay or easier to see them in. Like, it's really hard to see me as like Yoku from Gurren Lagann, but I can see myself, you know, more like, you know, insert whatever character, you know, I don't know, that is more covered.
No, I feel that's fair, yeah.
That inclusion is really important because these characters in these animes are watched, enjoyed, loved, consumed by people of these cultures. Yeah.
all over. And it's very true, like yeah, I think that's something important, honestly, for people here to sort of understand. It's not just I think like too many people here, like in America, only think like only white people and Asians like enjoy anime, and it's just like no, like
No.
so many more cultures like
Yeah.
love it, and like worldwide. So there's so much merit. I mean, we just spent 20 minutes talking about anime. We're just like, oh my god, have you seen that? Oh my god, because these anime like really are that good. And I think inclusion. Like is so helpful, because I mean, like, seeing ourselves, we just talked about like Avdol. When I saw Avdol, I was like, oh, I'm sold, I'm with it. And he was a cool guy, he wasn't a stereotype. Like, I loved it. It felt good to see someone who looked like me, honestly, there.
A couple
And
months ago, when most of the Black Lives Matter
Mhm.
protests were happening, they're still happening actually, but like when
Yes.
it started off in June, there were a few people who referenced Part Two Jojo. In the very beginning, it's Joseph, and he is in England or Italy, or he's from England and he was in another country.
Hmm.
And while he was there, his wallet got stolen by a kid.
Oh, the
And
first episode of Part Two, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
it was a black child, and his name was Smokey. And the cops catch him,
Hmm.
and
I
but
think
they
this is in
start.
America. I think he was in America. I think he's
Was he in
from.
America? I
I
think he was
think
in New
so.
York, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry if I got messed up. JoJo
No,
fans
no,
are like, she's
it's a
canceled. That's
lot.
it. You can't remember the location. Part two.
Yeah, he's from England, and then he went to America.
Exactly. So he was asking for like a Coke or something, and
Yes.
his wallet gets stolen. Smokey steals it, and then he runs into the cops, and the cops are pieces of shit to him, and they're horrible, and they're like, corrupt. And then Joseph finds him, and so Joseph beats the shit out of the cops, and it's great. He uses Hammond with the Coke that he had, and saves Smokey. And then someone did like an art version of them when they're older and stuff, and they're like, Joseph says a cab. So like, like this whole and like have Black Lives Matter, and I love it because like yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna stand for that. That is canon.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was the first thing that we saw of Joseph,
Oh
and
yeah.
I
I
loved it.
want to say that's one of the first things in JoJo in general, because part one was only 9 episodes, so that's like the 10th JoJo episode. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty quick. It was just sort of like, oh,
very quick into it.
especially, yeah. I absolutely love. I think that was like when I like fell in love with JoJo's, like where I was like, oh, Joseph, oh, and he's
Joseph's
fighting
the
for
best.
the people. All
For
right,
the
let's go.
people,
Yeah,
for the culture.
I knew he was with us. He gets to come to the cookout for sure.
Yeah, but then
For
like
sure.
he's like best friends with Avdol, and Avdol comes out of nowhere. And I just think that like these kind of things, the reason why I brought that up is like a transition into real life, what we're dealing with right now, and Black Lives Matter is affecting us positively. It's getting the rights and equality for not just, and I think people need to realize this, but it's number one, number two, number three, to all the way to number 10, these rights and equality for Black people, but it's also going to send waves for rights for other people of color. And I think media is
Even white
so,
people too is like, if
yeah,
they're with it, then you get more protections. I think it's like, it's not even just
there's
for
nothing
us.
bad that comes out of this. That's the thing. Like everybody getting more rights doesn't hurt anybody at all. It's not like you
No,
get less rights. It's not like this,
we're
like,
taking away your rights to give to us. It's
that's
is
not
more
how it
like,
works.
hey, give us rights, and then this will just sort of apply to everybody.
Everything gets better. Everybody wins. Everyone gets to eat. And
Yeah.
I think media is incredibly important in so many ways because of the way people view characters. I mean, we already know, like literally 1 week ago when we were supposed to have this podcast,
Mm,
Chadwick Boseman passed away from cancer, and it
hmm.
affected everybody. It affected so many people, especially because of what he's done. And I'm not just saying this to say it, but Black Panther actually is my favorite Marvel film. I've said it before.
Oh
I'm going to say
wow,
it again. It is the one Marvel film I've watched over a dozen times.
wow, a dozen
And
times. Wow.
oh, yeah, we have Shuri, who's a scientist, and I'm a scientist,
Yeah.
so I'm a weeb and a scientist, but the fact that she's so kick-ass, and like everything in that movie, may it be like the camera angles and the character writing, and Shuri's attitude, who I
Mm,
definitely vibe with her. Um,
absolutely.
it's comedic. There's a lot of comedic relief. The music,
Mm,
the villain, you can't even hate the villain.
no.
You can't hate Killmonger. He has a very strong point.
Mm,
And it's iconic, but it was very important to have something like Black Panther, and that representation is so very important, not just for what we could see, like, yes, people of color, especially Black people, could see themselves as a hero on the big screen, but it also shows other people that we are human, that we can be heroes and we can be more than what you assume us to be. We're more complex than you assume. We're just like you. We're just a different skin color, different culture, and we season our food. Like, that's it,
I mean, that's the facts right there. I mean, I'm really happy you're saying all these things because, I mean, we were supposed to talk last week, and then unfortunately Chadwick Boseman died, and it was such a sad moment. Usually I don't really get too sad when people die, like celebrities and all. I'm like, usually it sounds like might be insensitive, but like,
no,
I'm
it's
like,
a part of life, but
yeah, it is, especially like when old people die and, like, or people who were sort of done with what they were doing. Is like, at least they came, like, they died, like in like when Stan Lee died, like I actually felt
we were sad, but like we knew,
we understood.
but, like,
he was 90 plus years old, 93 I think, and then also like had like he was tired, his wife died, his family was taking advantage of him, he was having to go out all the time.
Reports of him not being able to. I mean, there's only 3 celebrity deaths that have really affected me in my duration as being an adult, and all due respect to every celebrity.
Yes, everybody else.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how, but like, I think number 1 is Robin Williams. Number 2 and 3 are this year's Kobe Bryant and Chadwick. Definitely, like, I could not stop crying. And
I don't blame you.
It's just tragic. I was really sad when Carrie Fisher passed away as well. But again, like, I knew the battles that she was facing, and it didn't come as a surprise. And I'm glad. If anything, I'm just grateful that we lived in a timeline where we got to experience their legacy.
Absolutely.
Firsthand.
Yes.
It wasn't like our parents telling us, like, oh, this actor in your time, like, Elvis or something.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got to be close to these people,
Exactly.
Even in many cases, maybe got to even meet them. I mean, luckily they were a lot more interactive with their fans, than any celebrity had been in the past,
It hits different. It's just like going to a concert versus listening to the CD.
Absolutely.
It's that experience of being in the same lifetime as them, which was dope. And they, again, if anything, like, yes, death is very sad, and I'm sorry if this triggers anybody, but I'm glad that they existed. And I'm glad that they gave us something that we could always cherish them by. And that's something that, like, live by life, that I want to leave this world better than better. I want to have some positive contribution, and a lot of that is thankfully happening in my lifetime. So I was like, I think that's like more of an what does Friedrich Nick say? Yeah, there we go. I can't say the word. English is not my first language. So there's some words that just don't happen.
I'm not good at English. I'm usually like,
Oh, the tongue does not move in that direction. I can't.
How do I say the word?
But I've always hoped that something would occur in my adult life where I'm able to help or share or do something with, which is like Miss Marvel for me is such a pride and joy. And I'm like, yesterday I booted up Marvel's Avengers. It was live on stream. There's a clip of it, but I literally started crying.
I'll post it inside this video.
Do it.
Yeah, I will.
I legit started like tearing up on stream.
Wow.
And watching just her on the screen talking to her dad. The first thing she says is Abu, which is an Arabic word for dad. I know it's also the monkey's name in Aladdin, but it means dad. so nice. She's Pakistani. So she doesn't speak Arabic. She speaks Urdu, but that's like a common word. And so just seeing her interaction, and few people are like, she kind of looks like you. She has your features, and like, dude, you just don't know what that feels like to people who grew up seeing nobody that looked like them. Like, I don't even look like Princess Jasmine. Let's keep it real. Like, no one even, and people put me in their Disney groups, and they don't even give me Princess Jasmine. They give me someone like Moana, and I'm like, all right, it is whatever.
Although I think that might be better, because I think that would be sort of weirdly offensive. They called you Princess Jasmine, just that like, hey,
it is like, don't cast type me for sure. You know, right. Which is what people do, and I understand it as well. It's a complicated situation.
Yeah.
But seeing Miss Marvel, reading Miss Marvel, and now finally getting to like reap the reward of just existing the same timeline as her.
Who is Miss Marvel, by the way? Could you, I guess, give us like a little bit of a briefer?
Miss Marvel is a Pakistani American Muslim living in New Jersey. She was born and raised in America. Her parents are immigrants. She has one older brother who seems to be very religious, but she herself is not. And while, she does have this ethnicity and faith, she is someone that we all can relate to because she is a huge fangirl. And she writes, fan fictions, and she loves Captain Marvel. She loves Captain America, Wolverine. She writes fan fictions with them about them as characters in her thing. She gets hit in the very first, I think, very first comic, and this is something that enters the new realm of Inhumans, but she gets hit with the Terrigen Mist, which essentially activates powers in people, very similar to Jojo with the arrow. Get hit by the arrow, and you get a scan.
It's like, what's the anime translation?
Yeah, there you go, man. Everything's related.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so she gets hit with the Terrigen Mist, and it activates her powers, and she ends up coming into the lineage, which is like another JoJo reference right there, but she comes into the Marvel lineage, and she first actually is she comes out as Miss Marvel, the last Miss Marvel, which is the Carol Danvers, and she's wearing the black one-piece suit with the red sash and the black thigh-high boots with the blonde hair. And she looks at herself, she's like, this isn't me, I'm not comfortable, And she could have stayed in that form, but she changed to her own form, in which she goes home and she takes a Pakistani dress, like a very popular to wear dresses with leggings underneath. So she takes actually, I think a hijabi or more modest swimsuit. I can't fully remember. This was the very first comic. It's been 4 years since then.
Wow.
So it's been a while. But she takes it and she makes her own costume with the iconic lightning bolt, the Marvel lightning bolt, Marvel lightning bolt from the last Miss Marvel. So that's who she is. She's a teenager. She's 16. So she's really young in high school. And she deals with a lot of things, which I think is very interesting. And I got to talk to one of the writers for Miss Marvel, one of the creators, so G. Willow Wilson, who she's American and she's white. And she converted to Islam. So she learned a lot about it. But she was speaking from she had studied a lot about Pakistani stuff just to understand Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, a little more specifically, and Khan's a very common last name. But we were talking about it, and I said, it's very interesting that you're diving into love because it's such a, not controversial, but something that isn't very discussed in our culture. And a lot of people are like, oh, arranged marriages, right? I was like, no, arranged marriages are actually fully forbidden in our faith. That is a cultural thing, and a lot of people tie in that to the faith because the people, the faith and the race are two different things. And you are not allowed to force anybody to marry ever. Ever is not allowed. So that is 100% a cultural thing. But I told her, I said, that's all people know about Muslim people. They think we're forced to marry and arranged marriages are a thing and that we don't feel love.
It's very hardcore. Yeah,
and we just have to marry who our parents want us to. But Miss Marvel gets to break that. And that's why I say these things are important, because if people were to read the comics or watch the show or the movie to come, and this comes into it, a lot of that.
There's a movie about Miss Marvel supposed to be coming out?
She's supposed to be included in the MCU. So she will have a feature in way further
cool.
Further on.
Okay. Excited to hear that.
Not this next
wave or phase, I guess.
Yeah, I forgot what they called it. There was wave 1 and 2 and 3. But she will be featured in 4 or 5 or something.
Okay, cool.
They're warming up to her, so we did get an animated show with her, and we have her as
not a game.
The protagonist in Avengers.
She's the protagonist.
She is one of the main characters.
Oh wow, that's huge.
You're following her and playing. You could play as her, and I've seen people, because it's a multiplayer game, I've seen some infighting about I want to play Miss Marvel. I'm like, it just feels so good to fighting to play her, and I'm like, yeah, that's up. You guys get it. She's awesome. And they just literally 2 days ago, they are releasing, I think, a series, Miss Marvel series, and a real
comic book.
No, real live action. They got
okay.
Directors. They had 2 directors for it, and the directors were from Bad Boys for Life. That were released earlier this year, and I'm actually a huge Bad Boys fan, so I was already fangirling.
Nice.
both the directors are Muslim and Middle Eastern. They're Moroccan, so they're North African.
Hey.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see them, and I'm like, we're gonna have action directors be the directors for Miss Marvel, and I'm pretty stoked.
Crucial. That sounds necessary to get like some action directors. Yeah. Awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. And you got me a lot more hype about her. Because I've always seen like a little bit about her.
I have all her comics. Like legitimately, I'll bust this box out. I have all her comics. I've collected them all. I have like her figures. Like right behind me is, you can't see it because you're blocked by snacks, but I have the Kotobukiya figure of her. I have the Funko. I don't collect Funkos, but just for her, the suit.
Just that one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like looking up at them, and I'm like, they're right up there. So yeah, I'm a huge Miss Marvel fan.
That's so
really
awesome
happy to see her.
You got me geeked about it. Like that's like, you know, because I had like heard a little bit about her. You know, I remember even like at was it New York Comic Con? Yeah, New York Comic Con, like where had to scout out to go like look out for stuff for her. But you know, there's a little bit for her. But now I'm actually happy to hear that she's like actually like inside this huge game that just came out.
She is.
And also, how is the game? Can you say anything about the game
now? It's good.
Okay, good. That was a big thing.
So it's better on console, I've heard, than PC. And I'm playing it on PC. But there's like a few little glitches here and there that you know, Square Enix should probably send out a fix for it. A couple bugs, but so far it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun, and you do get to switch characters, so you get to play as the various Avengers. You get to switch it up between Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, and Iron Man and Black Widow. So you do get to change, and it's really fun playing the different characters. You know, Avengers came out, and then DC fandom like dropped all these like amazing games to come. So I'm very excited for video game and
like
comics
superhero. Nice.
Yeah,
like this
sounds
pretty
the Marvel versus Capcom, you know, situation. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's pretty hype actually. Yeah, because I mean I had heard like mixed reviews and a lot of like, I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it's good to hear that like at least you enjoy it. And like the fact that you can play Miss Marvel and the other like the 5 other Avengers, that's pretty hype. That's real hype. Yeah.
The beginning starts off like she's going to a convention. And so
I remember
it's perfect. Like her dad's coming with her, and she's entering this fan fiction contest, and she's entering the hall, and she has like a lanyard. I'm like, it's like perfect for especially a person who goes to comic conventions, and you know, and they get it. Like it really throws you into that vibe. So it definitely. Yeah, and then it's multiplayer too, so you can have fun with other people.
That's pretty cool. Like you guys like all work together or like go against each other or what?
You're working together on missions.
That's cool.
You can only work on with somebody else. It has to be multiplayer mode. They have campaign and multiplayer. So yeah, that's dope. I
like that. Okay. I got too many games to play right now, but maybe I will have to get on that.
Come over and play it, dude.
I'm about it. I'm about it.
Yeah.
Man, there's just so many things to do right now.
It sparked a discussion though. So I had somebody from Kotaku actually reach out to me, and I think everybody knows what Kotaku is.
The video game blog, journalism blog, right?
Yeah.
Like news blog. Right?
I mean, it's a little more on the nerdy side, so we'll discuss anime and cosplay as well, which is nice to have that kind of media. But they contacted me because they're like, what are your thoughts on like the Miss Marvel promotion that they're doing? And I'm like, what promotion? And they're like, yes, exactly. We're not really seeing, and that's what you were saying too. You're like, they're like, oh, Miss Marvel is a protagonist. A lot of people don't really know that because there has been very little promotional material for Miss Marvel, and I think it's because from what you've seen, and unfortunately, like on Facebook especially, I think Facebook's the worst. But there's a lot of negativity and Islamophobia and just hate towards her for no reason. I actually was watching a streamer I love, and in the chat with somebody I know that tends to be more, you know, they are a person who is Hispanic and LGBT, and they were trashing Miss Marvel. And I'm like, you know, it's interesting because you are on the left side of things, yet you've like fallen into the same kind of, you know, she sucks, she's boring, I'm like, I asked him, I was like, did you pick up a comic? Like, no. And I'm like, oh, you're literally judging a book or comic book by its cover. Like, get into it, read it. And my takeaway is like, I know I'm talking about ethnicity and diversity, but Miss Marvel is a comic book character just like Superman is, Batman, just like Spider-Man. While you may relate to the character some way, somehow, that doesn't take away that character exists outside of the color of their skin or the religion they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody that literally anybody and everybody can relate to Miss Marvel. So to hate her is definitely coming from a place of, you just, I want to say ignorance.
You just don't know
haven't picked up.
about her.
You just
right?
don't know. Like you have not picked it up. And just because she is, and a lot of people are like, oh, she's Muslim, it's going to be boring. And I'm like, oh, like that's a lot of internalized racism there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
What does that mean? Yeah.
Exactly, because like everybody relates to her right off the bat, and just read her comics. I promise you won't regret it. It is very interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Like start from the first comic, or like is there a particular comic that you would say
from the
someone should get?
The action happens immediately. So like the Terrigen Mist hits in the first comic, and it just goes from there. And some comics are a little more action packed. You get introduced to big villains already, like right off the bat. If you love animals, you love dogs, there is a dog in there too. And a really big, awesome dog. She's part of like a little squad. She's part of multiple squads. So Miss Marvel doesn't exist in her own solo comics, but she also is in part of other comics. So she's part of the Champion series, the Inhuman series, the Young Avengers series. So she's in a lot of things and is featured in a lot of things. She teams up with, I think, a huge fan favorite, which is Spider-Man, but Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Oh.
So they're like best
new generation.
Friends.
Okay.
Exactly. They're best friends. And there's some other heroes that a lot of people haven't heard about that are also in that as well. But her and Miles are best buddies. And I think that's really important because I think everybody knows Miles, right? And I think I want to say
Inner Spider-Verse, right? Hopefully.
Everybody loves him. I have not met a single criticism of Miles ever.
Good.
Ever.
I mean, because I was like,
you're
why would you?
You're like,
because that movie, it makes me sad that more people don't talk about the movie, and then also it's just like I feel like more people need to go see the movie. They just skipped out of it because it was animated, whereas I think it's the best Spider-Man movie, and it's just.
I agree. I
saw that one 5 times. I think.
To me, oh yeah, like Spider-Verse, like is a beauty on so many levels, and I think to me it's the equivalent of Avatar, where people will avoid it just because it's animation, but then once they watch it, they're like, why did I not watch this earlier?
Exactly.
Because it is something that everybody loves, and nobody ever, and I think I want to make this relation, but nobody ever talks about not liking Miles because not that no one doesn't like Miles, but no one brings up his race. And like, I feel like the same thing that you should look into Miss Marvel. Like, it's a bonus thing. It's not the thing. And
like that.
That's what you need to like, you got to get past that, and I get like being Muslim is like this really big thing, but it's really not. Like, it's as big as being Jewish or Christian or Buddhist or anything at all. It's just something for me to relate to, but that doesn't
define
that's
you.
all she is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. That's a good point. I think like, especially like here in the West, anytime we hear about like Muslim or Islamic culture, we've been so conditioned, unfortunately, to be like, this is all you're about, I guess, it's like, yeah. And I think that's a bummer because you're missing the whole picture of a person, like where, don't get me wrong. And also you don't even know what the picture is, like you like a lot of Westerners, Americans think Muslim, Islam, and they're scared where they shouldn't really be, They
should. I mean, they see hijab. And they think like every woman, like people are like, oh, you're really Muslim? No, you're not. I'm like, like that's some internalized racism and ignorance you got to get through. Like hijabs are optional, like the cloth wear that Muslim women choose to wear on the head, that is 100% a choice, and it is actually, again, another thing that is forbidden to force. So that's a choice they make. You could be Muslim and not wear it. You could be Muslim and wear it. You could be Muslim and wear it and decide later in life that you don't want to anymore. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of celebrities who are Muslim that you would have never guessed are. They converted to it. Yeah, like I'm gonna give you a list right now of people, and you would have been like, I had no idea. Some people that I think are a little obvious, like we have Zayn from One Direction, Bella Hadid, obviously some other people like Riz Ahmed, who is in Star Wars. So those are like very obvious, right? There's a lot of famous actors and rappers that are Muslim as well. I mean, Mahershala Ali. I mean, if you guys didn't think he was Muslim from that name, I think you need to go. I mean, but Busta Rhymes, Ice Cube, Mos Def, they're all Muslim.
No, I didn't know.
Listening. Yeah.
No, I mean, I knew about Mos Def, but I didn't know about Busta Rhymes. And
a
that's
lot of
cool.
them convert. Like Black Muslims in the East Coast is like a big thing. But like, again, like they're not, it's not, my point is like, people don't look at them and think Muslim. People look
Yeah.
at them and think like
Person.
acting,
Yeah.
music, you
Mhm.
know, a figure in some kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they're good at. So it's just like stop looking at that and just stop allowing that to cloud and just read it. And maybe, and this is my whole entire point to everything, media plays a really important part, because once you read it, you see it, you like her, you go realize, maybe Muslims aren't what I thought they were. Like at
Mhm.
some point you'll have that like revelation. You're like,
Aha
okay,
moment.
you get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. No,
So
I definitely get it personally,
yeah,
like especially like just sort of doing my own diving into it, but at the same time it's like, yeah, like but that was I think the biggest reason I wanted to dive into it personally, because it's like I just heard so many negative things about Muslim culture, and I'm just sort of like,
yeah,
why? Let me at least see what it's about. And honestly, it's been great. In fact, every Muslim that I've come into contact with has been super cool to me. So, like I've never like had an issue. In fact, actually, I've only gotten better, and also I've only interacted with them and like always been like, oh damn, you're running shit, like you're
yeah.
a doctor or a lawyer, or you're able to teach me something about social justice more so, um like one of the people that has helped me during Ramadan has been like crucial and like sort of helped me understand just sort of social injustices that are going on throughout the world,
The whole
so
point of Ramadan is yeah. So just in case like the viewers don't know what Ramadan is, it is a holy month of fasting for Muslims, and as long as the sun is up, you can't eat or drink. Yes, not even water. That's always a question every year.
Mhm.
Can't chew gum. Can't put anything in your mouth. And can't really take anything out as well that's negative, right? So
Mm.
you can't lie, can't cheat, can't talk negatively of the other
I didn't know
people,
about those
don't
parts.
gossip. Yeah, what?
I was like, I didn't know about those parts, and I'm
Oh
kidding
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. It's essentially the whole point of it is disciplining yourself. That is the
Mhm.
whole point, is to discipline
Be
oneself.
good.
And so disciplining yourself doesn't stop at just, eating, but it's also like your soul and your spirit, right? It's super spiritual. And most people, it's the hardest part to me is like not being able to drink coffee or water, and also the really, really hard part, the hardest part outside of that is just not thinking negatively, right? Like you have to
Mhm.
try to be positive. You have to. So at that time, you inform others. There's also the social justice part. A lot of that, like we have to do charitable contributions. That's part of Ramadan. So you have to be donating to charity. You have to every single day, or a lump amount at the end. So it's just about, again, disciplining yourself, humbling yourself, and I think that's really important. I don't know why anybody would have any negative kind of thoughts or views. Like what Muslims are when we have this month that we gotta
I
like
feel like,
dedicate.
unfortunately, like, yeah, dude, like, I don't think a lot of Americans know, which is such a bummer,
Yeah.
like that's
Stop
like it's
eating hummus if you don't have a Muslim friend. Get to know one. I'm
yeah,
here. Hi, I'm Jasmine.
right.
I go by Jasmin Joestar on all social media. Talk to me. Um,
Crucial. Crucial. She'll be your first Muslim friend, I guess, which,
there we go.
honestly, it shouldn't be super rare. And like also like it sort of cracks me up when people are like, I don't have black friends. I'm like, wow. So like I didn't think it was so sort of hard, I guess, to like make friends outside of, I guess like a social group or like a certain
It's
group of
so
people,
weird.
right?
Yeah, like if you're an American, you're saying that we got to talk. But if you're somewhere else in the world, like maybe I'll get it.
Yeah.
This was kind of the discussion I had
Like
when
homogenous place, right? But
yeah, exactly. Like I
yeah,
got
here in
into it like
America.
last year after like that whole you had that little controversy right on Twitter. If you want to get into
Mm.
that, we can. But like
I mean, if you're down to get into it, I'm down.
that's fine because this part's like tea, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Where's the tea?" I'm just hearing a lot of
Feel free to spill the
positivity.
tea.
Oh yeah, I will spill the tea, and I'm gonna make this quick. So art is amazing. Art is beautiful. Art is what I spend all my money on. When I go to anime conventions, I'm always in the artist alley.
I
I
mean,
purchase it, I
same.
commission. It's behind me. It's everywhere in my room. So let me first and foremost tell you that I love art and I appreciate artists, and I would have done art if I wasn't a wuss and decided to go with the
Science.
well, like I know science is gonna pay the bills, and that's why I did it.
Makes sense.
Exactly. But art is a passion. Like every year, my elective was art in high school and in college.
Oh,
But
nice.
anyway, I digress. I just love art, so I want to say that first and foremost. But there's always been artistic rendering of characters, and it's
Mm,
it's really awesome to see that renderings. But there's some things that we shouldn't really enter. There are some sensitive things that we should be careful when we go into it, and art isn't a special exception to that. You should definitely be respectful. Cosplayers have to be respectful of it, and cosplay is an art form. You know, if there is like, for example, Pocahontas, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is like the red tattoo that she has over here. It actually means something special, and I apologize, I don't know what it means, but like there's a lot of tattoos that indigenous people use that you shouldn't necessarily be replicating unless it doesn't mean anything at all. For example, when I cosplayed
like
Maui
it's
from
respectful
Moana,
versus like,
yeah,
oh, this looks cool, I'm just gonna take it and just do
exactly,
it without like trying to like figure out why.
exactly. It's just like a hairstyle. So there's lots of hairstyles that belong to African people that they're like, hey, don't replicate this. There are, you know, the hijab for Muslim people. There is special face paint. There is also like I did Maui from Moana, and he had a lot of tattoos, but none of them were actually religious tattoos. And he actually sings a song. All the tattoos were for the battles he won. That's it, you know? So I was just like, okay, I could probably replicate this. I made sure to talk to some Hawaiian people. But again, I'm going off subject. The whole point is there are things that you don't touch, right? And one of them is skin color of darker skinned people, because there are so few darker skinned characters in media, in video games and in anime. And yes, we're finally getting there, but we haven't been there for the entire duration that has existed.
Yeah.
So if you see a darker skinned character, please leave them that pigmentation and that melanin, because you know there's so few of them, you know. And then they get those and even when they do exist in their natural state, these darker skinned people, they'll get comments about their darker skin, and colorism is a thing. Darker skin
very
people
much so.
in every race always get more hate. So if you are Asian, if you are Middle Eastern, if you are Black, a darker skinned person will always hear something about their skin color, something that they can't control, you know. And even if they can control it, they don't have to, they don't want to.
No,
that is something that exists, and
exactly. It should be a beautiful
it.
thing versus
Absolutely.
like, oh, you are this, yada yada, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when the character comes on, let them be, right? They already deal with enough racism and hatred. So that is very, very few darker brown Black people characters in all this stuff, and one of them popped up, and it's Nessa from Pokemon Sword and Shield. And
I remember this. Okay.
yeah, this is it. This is has stuck around, but I want to bring this up because I do want to address a couple of things. There was less than a week since she was announced that we had various artists replicate her, which again is for the most part great and awesome, and I love seeing that art. I purchased that art, I consumed that art. But then there was a few artists that have like whitewashed her, and when I mean whitewashed her, I mean like made her skin pale white, blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, definitely switched up everything, right? And I was just like, oh man, like that sucks to see. And then the comments were like, you improved her, you know. It's just like, damn, yeah, man, that's just like so
seems hateful.
It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
What do you mean you improved her? Was she not good?
Yeah.
Like you did something to her? Like what was not good about her? You're saying her skin color is not good? And then, you know, it's racism. Racism and colorism, which is a part of racism, right? So one of the artists had did something like I believed had like a very lighter skin color. And I saw multiple, so the reason why I even came into my feed, I was not following this artist, nor was I following a hashtag if there was one. But it came into my feed because I had multiple friends. I do have friends that are various ethnicities, like you said. And they were commenting on this person's post, this artist's post about like, hey, why'd you do lighter in your skin? Hello, blah, blah, blah. And the artist wasn't talking to them. The artist wasn't replying to them, but I saw the artist reply to some other people and interact with some other people by liking some other comments, just ignoring or not seeing the people of color commenting, hey, hello, can I get an answer? What's up? Why'd you do this? So at this point, it's only been a few days since this character dropped, and tensions are high. Like people are seeing various like versions of whitewashing this dark skinned, pretty awesome looking character. So I popped off. I had attitude, and I took their art, and I said, if you're going to go ahead and do this, I'm going to insult you in the same way back and give you the darker, I'm going to correct it for you. I'm going to correct it because what you're doing is incorrect. You should not be whitewashing characters. I really don't care if that's like your version of art is whitewashing characters. We need to discuss why that's a problem. And this person, again, it's an artist I don't follow. Probably never seen their art, never interacted with them. So I went ahead and did that. Really angry, frustrated, definitely disrespectful, had an attitude about it. And that was wrong for me to disrespect a person, but it's not coming from a bad place. It's coming from a place of just collected frustration on the whole situation and people being trolls, you know, but people being trolls isn't justifying that existence. It's just people are going to get upset. And so I did that. Artist replied back. We had like a little back and forth. And then I believe I had deleted the post, but within a couple of hours of posting it, I had deleted it because the artist DM'd me.
Oh.
And we had a discussion, which I had screenshotted and shared, but, you know, so I deleted it because the artist asked for it. Within a couple hours, I made my point. It was clear. Again, it did not last more than 2-3 hours of that post being up, but unfortunately, the internet's internet and nothing ever dies on the internet.
Yeah, right. I was like, oof, it's out there. It's out there. And
it's out there. So it just stuck forever. Unfortunately, the artist was like, hey, delete it. And nobody would really, and he even made a statement that said like, the person and I discussed it. We're totally fine. Please delete it. Stop harassing them. But the internet has a mind of its own.
They like to go.
It hit everything. It hit like Facebook. It hit Reddit, 4chan. It hit like every medium of social media there is.
Oh no.
And I, you know, cue all the harassment and hatred. But to me, like the narrative is you have a. It's got really dark in my room. Let me turn on this light.
no, like also it's getting dark in my room too. I was like, should I get up? I don't know. Whatever. I got this ring light. I just got a ring light, so
yeah, there's a ring light attached to my webcam, so it's
nice.
Perfect. So the narrative is, and I explained this to the person. I said, I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. The fact like colorism exists.
Yes.
And a lot of people argue that like that's a Western thought. It's not a Western thought. That exists around the world. Like in Asia and countries like Indonesia, which I just said is 99% Muslim, which is like that means is like me. Their number one product on their skincare market is bleaching cream.
Yeah.
We see it multiple advertisements, bleaching cream. We are told to go outside with an umbrella and don't go out in the sun. And back in history, if you were a darker skin color, that meant that you were poor because you worked in the fields. So there's always been a negative connotation worldwide, especially on the East, more so than the West. Even the West doesn't have really negativity towards darker skinned people. I mean, I live in Los Angeles, California, right? So like tanning is a thing. People
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I like even my culture, you know, like I felt even within my family, you know, like not like a huge thing, but like, you know, I felt colorism type of stuff too, you know, like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, you know,
all of us have gotten some uncle, cousin had something to say about her skin color. And either if you're lighter, you're more beautiful. If you're darker, you know, hey, here's a cream that might, you know, and it's just like, no, it exists worldwide. So it's definitely not a Western thought, you know, it's just something we're trying to, you know, evolve from altogether, that a darker skin color doesn't mean, you know, doesn't equal ugly or doesn't equal like something negative. It is just your skin color. It is not something to comment on, and it's not a beauty feature, period.
No, exactly.
It.
I mean,
so
like,
a lot of people were like, "Oh, you Americans." I'm like, it's a worldwide thing. And so,
unfortunately, so
the artist and I had a really good discussion, in which I told them like where I was coming from, and they had actually themselves apologized and said, "I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to insult anybody." And I was like, "I completely understand. I'm really sorry that I came off the way I was." And it should have started and ended there. You know, a lot of emotions were attached, but unfortunately, it's still something that to this day follows me. But I just want to concentrate the conversation not on like the frustrations I had towards the artist that I released, or the, you know, the way I conducted myself, but the conversation should be about what it was about, right? Which was darker skin colored people exist. They are very rare in the media we consume. May it be like usually anime, video games, I mean, mostly nerd and geek pop culture, and that they deserve love. And if they are, if there is a character that is a darker skin color, let them be.
Yeah.
It is something that's special. because there isn't much of it. And
Unfortunately not. Yeah.
yeah, don't change your skin color. A lot of people started to comment on my cosplays and say like, oh, you did, you did Avdol, he's black. I'm like, yes, and they're like, you shouldn't have. You're not black. And I'm like, that is not cosplay.
You're missing the point.
You're missing the point completely. You should have bronze. You should have black skinned. I'm like, no.
Yeah, now you're totally galaxy brained. Unfortunately,
I was just like, we are missing your. This is and the whole reason is respect the skin color that people are, and don't change the skin color people are.
Mm-hmm.
And then the comments came, oh, what about people? So right now, what's happening? It's trending on Twitter. And this is why I'm bringing it up. A lot of people are actually, a lot of artists I follow, they are taking anime characters and they're actually taking their skin color and changing their skin color.
Yeah, I saw actually that's pop up a few days ago. Yeah, like where people are negrifying
I'm not
characters.
Gonna use that word, but
I know, right? Like it's like I can say,
called it.
Because too many people were whitewashing characters that were originally black.
That's still happening. That's still happening.
I saw like a white canary, like the girl in Hunter x Hunter who has, who's straight up black, up and down black. And then some people made her honestly look albino because, like gave her blonde hair and white skin, but still like same features.
I think that's what started it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I saw that because I saw a quote tweet to that with their own art, which I think is great,
Yeah.
But people are like, but wait, we can't whitewash, but we can,
because people are missing the point. And it's just sort of like, y'all, like, I like how you said, like, there's not enough black characters anyways out there.
That's the entire point.
And you want to whitewash those guys? Like, like, that's just, like, so rude, unfortunately, and,
oh boy, I saw it with Yuriko and My Hero, and I'm like, I'm not entering this because when I did enter this conversation, the internet came after
your
me.
case, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they doxed me. That's how bad it was. I'm like,
they doxed you?
Oh yeah, I've gotten doxed multiple times now. But the thing is, like, there's things that you do that are unforgivable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there is, especially in like the nerd community, we've had we've had voice actors and we've had cosplayers and we've had photographers that have done actions that are really bad. They've sexually harassed people. They have, raped people. They have, taken upskirt pictures. They've said horrible things. They've engaged with minors in ways that are very inappropriate. That's the type of action where you're like, okay, you are not a good person and you should definitely, seek help and therapy and that kind of thing, right? But having an opinion on something and having a discussion or feeling a certain way and having a good reason to feel a certain way isn't the same thing. And the internet is like a cruel, ruthless place. So I was just like,
unfortunately, so
yeah, like me clapping back at an artist is not equal to some of the things people should be getting canceled for.
I'm mad that people conflate the two all the time, and it just seems like a little disingenuine, I guess, when people do that, because it's sort of like, do you not see like the systemic oppression that's happening here, and then like maybe like these two things are not the same, I mean,
it's a bit ironic because it's hypocritical, because canceling people is a PC thing to do, right? It's a politically correct thing to cancel somebody for having like an opinion or saying a tweet that's offensive from 10 years ago. Like everyone blames that on the left, but yet people who are more conservative and people who come after people to cancel them over things that they don't like their opinion on. I'm like, that's not, I was like, you're doing exactly what you're
complaining about. Exactly.
Fighting. Yeah, exactly.
I do wish that like definitely like people on the left would, like also sort of see the same thing too. Like, whereas like you can't get mad at people on the right for doing the things that you are doing. But at the same time, it's just sort of like, I think everyone needs to sort of be aware of like the overall picture, like where it's like, if you are doing something that's furthering the hurt of like a whole group of people, that's wrong. Stop doing it, please. Right. Versus,
it's pretty simple, but I mean, that's like that.
I would think so, but apparently we've got to keep having these conversations. And I think we're going to have these conversations for.
It's like the whole mask thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. Like we're not thinking of the bigger picture.
Oh my goodness. My freedoms though. And that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. But like this, I do want to say this has been like an amazing conversation. I'm really happy that we got to talk. We got to talk again some more soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
like maybe if this mass situation gets worse, I'm gonna hit you up. But honestly, I have loved this whole conversation, and I definitely appreciate just geeking out with you and like just getting nerdy with you. And like this
Went from like anime to like real.
I love it. That's
life
what
real
this podcast
quick.
that's usually what this podcast is about, like just talking about the whole spectrum of everything and cursing the whole while and doing whatever, like just sort of hanging out, talking with each other and just sort of getting to
It's
know
fun.
like and honestly, like this is great. I've learned a lot. I learned about Miss Marvel. I learned about like I think I really like how you said like what Black Lives Matter means, like earlier on, when we were talking about Chadwick Boseman, and then even like there's this whole conversation about Nessa and the whitewashing and then even the retaliation, the Negroification, like it is really good to have heard this perspective. I got to hit you up again soon. I think if things start blowing up some more in America,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got to bring
I
you
think
back
it's
in.
important. The like number one takeaway from this is just keep an open mind and try to see without like stop judging a book by its cover. Like pick up the book, read it.
I love it.
I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump, but
Me neither.
I still tuned in and watched the RNC because I was curious to see.
Wow, good on you.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I only lasted like 20 minutes before I like wanted to like throw my phone against the wall.
Yeah.
But so I basically still watched it. I still tried to understand, and I think if anything, and even like right now, like I mean, I am guilty of it. I am guilty of unfriending everybody that is MAGA.
Yeah.
I am guilty
Echo chamber type of stuff, right?
What?
Echo chamber type of stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Almost. It's like.
Although at the same time, it's like I don't blame you. It's like it's just.
But at this point, like at this point, it's just like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
It's if at this point, if I have to explain what the problem is, then you already know. You're just being stubborn, and I don't need to go any further. But at the same time, that's the wrong kind of thinking because that's something that I'm trying to say. Like, hey, try to hear the person out. Try to see where they're coming from and listen to them.
I like that.
Do they really mean harm? There are some things that are unforgivable.
Mm-hmm.
That is purely harmful.
Yeah, like what point is it like on purpose, and what point is it just like I didn't really get it, and I need to be explained to this. Hopefully not too many times. But.
Have that conversation, listen to people, follow. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to be homies. You don't have to interact with me, but, follow or, just look at my profile every now and then, see what I'm talking about, see the things I share and see the discussions that are being had, look into it. One really important thing is, a couple days ago, I asked because the cosplay community is really divided. I'm a cosplayer. I love the cosplay community. It is definitely flawed, but we're getting there. And I opened this conversation because I did not know how to feel. Like I pride myself on being educated and having intellectual conversations and views, but I try to be humble and understand that there's some things that I just cannot. I don't have the education for. I don't have the ability to decide. And there's cosplayers that were really divided on how they felt on people using cosplay to honor Chadwick's memory. And it was a very divided thing where I saw people of various races really dislike these cosplay posts of Black Panther. And I saw people of various ethnicities as well doing it themselves or liking that kind of content and sharing it. And so I had polled, I got like 200 votes on it and a bunch of replies as to what people's opinions of it are. Like, what do you think? Like cosplaying somebody and making a cosplay post saying you're honoring so-and-so, Chadwick Boseman, and you're wearing Black Panther or you're wearing a Disney costume and you're like, sad and showing that you're sad in a post, Instagram post or a Twitter post. How do you feel about that? And a lot of people were very divided about how they felt, but the important part is you keep an open mind, right? And you ask and you communicate and you talk. And
to actually talk about it versus like, I'm mad, you're canceled.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I had a best friend of mine that was like, this is horrible. And I love her, but I also had another best friend that did it themselves, and they're both very good people. So we got to stop jumping to canceling. We have to stop jumping to judging a book by its cover. We have to keep an open mind and inform ourselves, educate ourselves, discuss it amongst each other, be respectful. And then I think this would be the best way of pushing past ignorance and getting to a point where we could all just live unanimously together. I don't know. I can't think anymore.
No.
Words.
Like I think that's super well said. You know,
Yeah.
like I think we do need to like talk to each other and like stop getting like super angry, especially because not everything is trying to offend, I guess, you know.
Yeah, man. We all live on this planet.
Yeah.
You know, we already have enough battles in our own lives. We don't need to add more like aggression and stress and hostility. Like we already have to deal with, you know, the cards that we've been dealt with. There's no need for additional drama and issues, and you know, just
especially amongst ourselves, like when people are just trying to hopefully be good, you know, even if they're just trying to get clout points, it's still like not like negative, I guess, in that sense, unless if they're trying to be like, I think we need to get better also of seeing like what's genuine and what's not, I guess, you know, like I think that's like a bigger point. But I don't know, like if we're gonna keep going through it, we're gonna keep going through it for a long time. I need to do like a special like election and like sort of I guess social current events type of deal, like episode pretty soon, actually. Like I was like, you need to come on. I'm gonna have it with multiple people. So
sure.
Yeah, you and like other people, I'm bring on, have a special episode, because I mean you're only spitting facts right here, and I truly appreciate this.
I think it's yeah. I think I'm very rare in the community. Like I don't see many people like me.
No.
Middle Eastern, Muslim. So I'm very happy to have a discussion. Like my DMs are open. They actually are open. So like, you know, I mean, like, yeah, you don't have to tweet at me. You could always just, you know, quietly and privately talk to me. And I talk to everybody. Even if listen, the only people I don't talk to, if you're being disrespectful, like if you're being straight up disrespectful, like if you say something to me that you can't say in front of your mom, don't say it to me, you know. I'm gonna keep it that simple for you. But you know, even if it's something controversial, you know, like I've had so many DMs about like, why are you Muslim when you're a feminist? And you know, like Islam isn't about women's rights. I'm like, that is very controversial, right? But that is a very good discussion point. I'll be happy to discuss it. And I think, like, again, communicate, keep an open mind. If you don't have a Muslim friend, I'm here. Hi, I'm Jasmine. And yeah, it was great talking to you, Godswill.
I love it. Honestly, like I had a great time talking with you, and definitely thank you so much for being on the podcast. Like this has been an amazing time that like I'm really glad we got to spend, and I learned a lot of new things, and I got to have you back on. Thank you so much. I guess any last things you'd like to say? I mean, like that was a perfect ending, but
yeah,
I was asked that. Like I was like, sorry to bring it back out, right?
No, you're
Come back
fine.
on the stage, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug myself in because that's usually what people do at the end of things. Like my name's Jasmin Joestar. Joestar is a Jojo reference. I'm a huge Jojo fan. If you're gonna take anything away from this, please watch Jojo. If you like the non, you know, heavy part of this conversation, was probably talking about anime. Little heavier parts is I'm a Middle Eastern Muslim woman. I am I'm on social media. I am a content creator. I'm a cosplayer. I'm a streamer. I love video games. My door is always open. My virtual door is always open. So if it is Twitter, I have a Discord. Please go ahead and follow me on social media if you want to see more content or see my views. I am very, very outspoken. I have no problem saying what's on my mind or how I feel. So if you want something, oh yeah, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, that is definitely you. It's always been me. But yeah, so if you definitely want to like just are curious and you want to see that, or if I pique your interest or you think you'd vibe well with me, my Facebook, not my Facebook, but my Twitter, my Twitch, I even have a YouTube soon. I'm almost at 100 subs, but everything is Jasmin Joestar. I think it's very easy. No E in Jasmin, just Jasmin Joestar, and I'm sure Godswill will put it right here.
I got you. I'll be posting all that stuff.
Come through. And yeah, the CEO of discussions on diversity, inclusion, Muslim Middle Eastern things, and anime, especially JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Absolutely, I love it. And you know, Perfect. I love it. This was a great conversation. Thank you so much for being on. And to everybody else, like always, as I say, please like, share, subscribe, talk to us. I always read the comments. Definitely want to keep improving and doing better. Want to talk to more fans out there. All that and more. Definitely follow Jasmin on all of her stuff. I'll be posting all of her links for sure. And as always, stay dope, folks. Keep following That's Dope. We're gonna be doing more things and more to come for sure as the year keeps going. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep staying dope. And yeah, peace, y'all.